The Harkles made a surprise visit to the Queen and Prince Charles right before their arrival to The Hague for the Invictus Games. This was not that surprising because we've been expecting it for some time, but the timing is what makes it a bit wicked, for reasons you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. Up to this point, there's little doubt that Harry and Meghan focus on doing things that only benefit them. So you can imagine that this surprise visit must have a hidden intention. It would not be hard to imagine that this is part of a PR strategy to boost their headlines right before they appear at the Invictus Games. And yes, a lot of netizens still cannot believe that this actually took place, even if the Sussex's spokespersons confirmed the visit. But it's so strange that even if, according to The Sun, a busload of tourists visiting Windsor Castle spotted them, and the Harkles even waved back, which sounds implausible since I doubt that Meghan would have paid attention to them unless they had their cameras out. And speaking of cameras, why isn't there a single photo? So we have all the rights to have doubts of this visit, even if I've been mentioning it in my videos that this was about to happen. But there's a twist. It's such a coincidence that the Harkles visited the Queen when William was not around. We already know that he's part of the heavy decisions along with Charles, but this could be a signal that the relationship between the brothers is far from being reestablished, and that Harry timed this so he wouldn't bump into William. The exact timeline is that they arrived on Wednesday and left on Thursday. By the way, it's interesting that this was Maundy Thursday, which is a commemoration of the Last Supper and has a strong meaning of forgiveness. And if you've been following my videos, you know that every manipulation starts by attacking emotions and when the victim is most vulnerable. Yeah, it might be a stretch, but you know how good is Meghan at pulling the heartstrings to get what she wants. And this could have been a great moment to bring Lilibet so the Queen could meet her in person. But as far as we know, the children are not traveling with them. And we still don't know how did Harry and Meghan travel to London without being seen, but some affirm that they bought all the first-class seats of a Los Angeles-London flight. Others say that some first-class passengers did spot them, and boy, I cannot imagine booking a 10-hour flight just to find out that I'm gonna be flying with the Harkles. Rest assured, that would be the most uncomfortable selfie ever. But I think the speed of this visit must have something to do with what I mentioned in another video. He doesn't dare to sit down with the Queen because that would mean two things. One, that the topic of Counselor of State will arise and why Harry needs to be stripped of it as soon as possible. But you know that it's not on Meghan's best interest that this happens. And two, that the Queen is gonna ask the mandatory question, Harry, why have you been behaving like such a bloody gobshite? And what's with all those security concerns that he was talking about? All the stress put on that topic on dates that were so delicate for his grandmother. This is something that the more you think about it, the more heartless they are. They wanted this to look like they are willing to reestablish the bridge with the royal family, but it was them who broke it in the first place. What everybody is asking is why didn't Harry attend Prince Philip's memorial? And this short time with his grandmother doesn't change the fact that he could be ready to unleash pseudo-facts on his upcoming memoir. If he really wanted to rebuild any trust from the public, he must have been open about this. Maybe they wanted to visit the Queen in the same way that they married 3 days before and in private. And it's that ability to lie that is going to affect not just the Queen, but even more so Prince Charles. Because I understand that Charles might want to be seen as compassionate and fair, but at the same time nobody wants a sovereign that doesn't show a spine in the moments that is required. Again, this is a very good reason why they visited when William was not around. So the public is not going to see Charles as kind, but instead he's going to be perceived as soft. And it's easy to compare these words to the Queen. You can think of the word kind, but she's far from soft. After so many lies and everything that has happened between them, that's the image slowly crawling into the public perception of Charles. Because there would be no better way of showing a lesson than to have the guts of putting Has on his place. And Harry is aware of this extended olive branch, so he's making sure to take advantage of it. But what people are not realizing is that this reveals Meghan's main strategy over the royal family. Meghan must have realized by this point that she's pretty much irrelevant in the US. So, to keep her image brand up and running, she has to find a way to create headlines. And yes, that's something that you could do with good deeds. But doing good deeds is boring and takes so much time to gain traction. It's much better to stir the pot with a topic that's never going to go out of fashion: her ties to the royal family. That's the reason why she always has a paparazzi on speed dial, except for this time. Because whatever clout she's had in the past years is because she managed to break the chains from this toxic monarchy, right? So her fans must be really confused now and should be finally exercising their brain cells into making up an explanation for this behavior. Well, good for them. It's nice to use your brain from time to time. But this is gonna backfire for a very simple reason. It is reported that they did not bring a Netflix crew to film this, and as far as we know, they were not wearing recording devices of any kind. This could seem like they are finally doing things for family's sake, or to rebuild the relationship, or to try to fix things. But this is a question for you, my body language buddies. What can stop the Harkles from claiming that they had conversations on any topic with the Queen or with Charles, and that they were forgiven or whatever comes from their prolific minds? After all, there will be no one to confirm or deny that. Again, a great advantage that William was not around. They know that neither Buckingham Palace or Clarence House would come forward to deny any claims, unless it's something outrageous. Maybe a revelation of a delicate conversation that Harry had in private with his grandmother, and, oh surprise, he will not reveal the details until she's gone. I'd love to know what you think in the comments. Either way, Meghan and Harry managed to do it once again, to rattle the headlines a couple days before their big appearance at the Invictus Games, stealing the show from the veterans, who are the real protagonists of this event. Because if this had happened for Philip's memorial, it wouldn't have made that much impact. They wanted that leak in this occasion so everyone could be expecting their appearance shortly after. Let's just hope that whatever conversations or decisions made in private are openly shared with William. He's the one who can cast a real vote on the impact that the Harkles have had in monarchy's public perception. Of course, this will not be the last time Harry and Meghan use the royal family to bring attention to themselves. Let's see what kind of shenanigans they come up with now. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.